Hello and welcome in this video in which we will discover how to be a good conversationalist. Having something to say all the time is not natural for everyone. While some people completely master the art of chatting, others have more difficulty finding the right words to communicate. At work in front of the coffee machine or in the baker's queue, people regularly talk about banalities. Indeed, social interactions are an integral part of our daily lives. It's impossible to escape it, and they are based on implicit conventions. If you do not feel comfortable in these verbal exchanges, don't worry, solutions exist. Stay tuned until the very end of this video because you will discover how to have an easy conversation in every circumstance. Just before, make sure you subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download your free book to change your life by clicking on the link in the description below the video. The importance of developing your general knowledge. Why having a general knowledge? A solid general knowledge is an undeniable asset in the field of communication. Not only does this make it possible to understand all the possible hints of the other person, but also to have a conversation. It is important to benefit from knowledge on various subjects, because there are many contexts in which you can find yourself. For example, in a restaurant, some people will talk to you about the quality of the wine. At the small local shop, it will be about the problem of globalization and its consequences on market prices. In the supermarket, you will not escape ethical questions about the eggs. As you may have understood, several themes can catch you off guard at times when you least expect it. Always having something to say is, in fact, being able to bounce back in every circumstance on the other person's words. Don't worry, you don't have to know all the subjects in the world. This objective is unattainable. Just choose a few major themes and understand the main lines. Acquire knowledge easily. The most common medium for learning is the book. Paper reading should never be set aside. However, other more modern means exist today to gradually gain in general knowledge. First of all, simply by wandering on social networks, opt for constructive articles rather than insignificant publications. Contrary to popular belief, these virtual platforms can be a veritable mine of information on many topics. All you have to do is use them wisely. Similarly, some mobile applications offer the possibility to learn in a fun way. Audio or digital books are also available at a low cost on the net. Finally, and more generally, enjoy every moment when you have nothing to do to learn something. It is perfect to use these various tools in the subway, in the doctor's waiting room, when you prepare yourself in the morning, or even on the toilet. During the day, there are many opportunities to gain some information, to motivate yourself, and also to keep pace. It is better to set small and easy goals. For example, read at least one book per month, or learn at least one new thing every day. Keep up to date with the latest news. Sometimes you don't have to look very far. People tend to talk about what's going on right now. That's normal. The majority have access to the same media. They are immersed in the same events at the same time. It is therefore essential to keep in touch with the news so that you do not quickly feel excluded from collective exchanges. Whether it is through television, newspaper, radio, or the internet, you can regularly find out what is happening in the world. Whether it is about new politics, economics, or social issues, you will always be able to talk about it in the course of a conversation. Be careful, however, of being on thin ice. When it comes to a conversational subject, it is not uncommon to have to deal with different opinions. If you do not have the self-confidence to support your own, it is best to abstain. The objective is not to put you in a difficult situation. Be aware of the context and use the elements of your environment. An exchange between two individuals always takes place in a given context. The context can become a support for the conversation. It enables you to launch topics on which the interlocutor can easily bounce back. For example, if you are talking to someone in a waiting room, you can talk about the fact that you find the number of chairs really insufficient. Similarly, if you talk to your neighbor in the entrance hall, you can say that the new mailbox decoration is really nice. Be imaginative. A word of caution, don't overdo it either. If it is perfectly acceptable to talk about a few banalities to create a link, it will become weird to see you passionate about the color of a sticker. As you may have understood, everything is in the right measure. Use common elements. Always with the same idea in mind, you have to find subjects that link you to the other person. That is to say, things for which both of you have an obvious common interest. Example, you are talking to a coworker about the next team meeting. In many cases, the context in which you meet the person gives you indications of the common points that exist between you. By creating a shared catchphrase, you immediately make the conversation more fluid. Tongues are loosened more easily when two people share a subject to which they both attach importance. If by chance you have the same opinion as your interlocutor on the subject, this is an additional advantage. Indeed, people naturally have more sympathy for those who support their ideas. However, do not pretend to constantly approve your interlocutor. Stay authentic, otherwise you might look like someone with no personality. Use the person you are talking to as a support by asking them questions. Always having something to say requires sometimes only a good observation of the person you are speaking to and of what they say. Indeed, most people enjoy talking about themselves, whether it is to confide themselves or to tell their stories. By offering them this opportunity, you save yourself a lot of talking and imagination, and you ensure that the conversation runs smoothly. To begin, simply ask your interlocutor questions about the topic he or she is talking about. It doesn't matter if you are really interested in the answers or not. The objective is to let the other person fill any unpleasant gaps. Listening actively. Once the question is asked, the person will answer you for a more or less long time. However, it is still essential to listen, at least globally, to what she/he tells you. This will then enable you to bounce back on her/his words in an appropriate way. Similarly, when you listen, show the other person that you are captivated by what she/he is telling you. Feel free to use non-verbal language, for example, by looking in her/his eyes or by regularly nodding your head. It is also possible to use small words such as, "Oh yes," "No way," "Okay." The latter gives the spokesperson confidence and encourages her/him to continue. Reword the words. Finally, the last step of this communication technique is reformulation. Finding the right answer to a long triad is not easy. Rather than bothering to look for complex ideas, simply transcribe the speaker's words but with other words. In a way, summarize what she/he just told you. You can also ask feelings about the situation she/he mentioned. Example, if I understand correctly, the neighbor who was supposed to feed your cat during the holidays withdrew at the last minute? You must have felt really angry that she let you down. It must have been particularly stressful to find someone in a hurry. By acting in this way, you verify and validate the content of her/his message. This method, which is widely used in commerce, has proved its worth. Gaining self-confidence and being able to de-dramatize the situation. Finally, do not forget we have the biggest difficulty to talk when we are stressed. The anxiety generated by social interactions is usually due to a lack of self-confidence. It is essential to approach communication with others more calmly in order to obtain better performance. Shy people often have the impression that failing in a dialogue is dramatic. Relax, it's not the case. Be aware that the discomfort caused by 2 minutes of silence or a clumsy statement may be at the heart of your thoughts all day, but forgotten much more quickly than you imagine by the other person. Really stop torturing yourself with your failures. Learn to accept yourself as you are. By letting go of this perfectionism obsession, you'll become much more spontaneous. No longer fear the eyes of others. Fear of others' eyes is the first thing that causes you difficulties in speaking. Indeed, when we lack self-confidence, we attach excessive importance to the opinions of others. By staying in this position, you become forever a slave to the people around you. Your happiness no longer depends on you, but on what the outside world will deign to bring you. What a pity! Ask yourself, even if one or more people has a negative opinion about yourself, what are you actually risking? The answer is nothing. You're safe now. Free yourself from the burden of wanting to please everyone, and finally start being yourself. If you like this video, please like, share, comment, and especially subscribe to the channel. You are also free to receive the new book, 7 Secrets to Changing Your Life Now, by clicking on the link located in the description below the video.